And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the blue Terran player. We have the Brazilian Terran representing Ximius Gaming. It is Kamikaze. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. Let's go. Let's go. We are getting into our next game, into our first series, into a different matchup here at ZvT, and I do have to give credit where credit is due. Kamikaze has been improving a lot, in recent times. When I say recent times, I mean maybe the past 12 months. Like past 12 months, Kamikaze has grown from more of like a mid-tier Brazilian player into one of the upper echelons of Brazilian players out there, where he does threaten Inexorable on a much more regular basis, of course. And even, I mean, of course, it all kicked off last year when Kamikaze defeated Master in El Circuito Brasileiro, where he was able to bring down Master and actually make it into the offline event. It was crazy. Like, like Kamikaze, he made it to the offline finals, and Master didn't, by the way. Like, that was insane. He cheesed the hell out, of course. It was like a 10-minute series, 10-minute best of 5. It was insane, but he was able to pull it off. It was very impressive. And we'll see how it compares to Erik. Kamikaze himself is also not the most orthodox. He does enjoy playing mech. He does enjoy going for certain timing attacks, all-ins, 8-Raxes, things of that nature. But now opening up 2-Rax Reaper, one of the more standard openers nowadays. So 2-Rax Reaper. Typically this leads into bio, but there are some niche situations and some niche builds where this does go into mech. Like, we have seen that before, for sure. So I don't want to rule that out. Not with Kamikaze getting involved. As now the Reaper does move out across the map. I see Enrique in the chat. Gah, baby, gah. Oh. As Reaper does poke in. Dancing with the army behind this, Erik does go for a very fast Roach Warren, though. 2 gases being taken. It was a gases opener out of Erik. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted just introducing the players. But gases opener out of Erik going for delayed gases, skipping link speed, straight into the Roach Warren, and it's going to be on Kamikaze to confirm. So far, Kamikaze, he's distracted by the third base, which I don't blame him for, but he doesn't check the main, and the main base is where all the tech is. The all-in is coming, and Kamikaze is currently unaware. Oh, that goes in. Kamikaze does poke in. Zoned away by the Queen. Yeah, the Queen's zone does find his way into the natural mineral line, though, and drones are going to be going down. Gets 1, gets 2. Yeah, 1, 2 drones going down. Nice damage. Getting a 3rd drone towards the end. Can we get 4? Not quite. And again, this is really nice damage here, but Kamikaze fails to scout. He fails to scout. He does not see the gases. He does not see the Roach Warren. We have Roach production underway as we speak from Erik, and Roaches are revealed. Yeah, the Roaches are revealed back at home. Does cancel the add-ons. The factory's on the way on the low ground. This means that if this natural base is broken, the production is also broken as well with the factory. We see Kamikaze throwing down 3 bunkers here in front of his wall. Oh god. Does throw down his bunkers. Now the problem here is that he did cancel his tech lab. So the way to defend against this with the 2-Rax Reaper opener is you keep the tech lab on the racks to make 1 or 2 Marauders, and then you can put Marauders in the bunkers. But he canceled the add-ons instead, which he totally could have afforded. Bunker does finish, and behind this, Erik is not all in. Thankfully for Kamikaze, Erik is not all in. Erik, he does drone up behind this instead, getting to link speed. He did not make extra roaches behind this. So this is a massive overreaction from Kamikaze. Thankfully, he can get a refund, a partial refund, but this was a strong reaction. Behind this, 3rd CC. Getting into a 3rd CC, into his own 3 CC 2-1-1. But again, the add-ons were cancelled. Like that's in line with what we mentioned before, the overreaction. Where Kamikaze cancelled all the add-ons, where he threw down all the bunkers, and this means that stim is going to be late. Very late stim. It should be almost done by now. I say stim, I feel like we probably would have gone Concussive Shell first into Marauder, but like the upgrades would be finishing up. And this does give Erik a lot of breathing room. So Erik is given a lot of time to drone, to saturate, layer is on the way. Erik is a CranKy, I think. He is back. He is. Aesthetic. So now we're going to lair. Once we get into lair, I'm not convinced that it might not be muta play. Like, we'll see if it's going to be Aspire into mutas or if we double down on roaches. Eyes are on Erik. Infestation pits. So roaches into infestor into potentially ultra tech if we get that far. Meanwhile, we get a very messy natural base with all the production down here. Stim is halfway done. Once again, as we try to emphasize, because Stim is so delayed, Kamikaze is stuck at home, right? He's stuck at home. You don't want to be active on the map without your upgrades, so we're waiting for Stim, 1-1, medevac production as well. Kamikaze is contained, and Erik is still freely droning, freely saturating. From here, we can start to get a fourth base up and running. Melee upgrades on the way, not range. This tells us that Erik wants to transition out of pure Roach Ravager into Ling Bane, into, we're thinking, Ultras down the line. So here we go. But now safety investors. There's that Hive, as I mentioned, Hive Tech for Ultra Tech. This is very common in the current meta of ZvT. If you've been watching Shin, Solar, Rogue, even the European Rogue players have been embracing this as well. I mean, this style was popularized last year at DreamHack Dallas by Shin, but the build itself has changed over the past year. That is true. It has changed. We haven't seen players play around with going into banelings, with skipping or embracing infestors. But the core idea is still there, which is roaches into ultras. Or roaches to be defensive, to survive the early mid game, and then skyrocket ahead with Hive Tech, with Ultra Tech. Marines forced to be lifted. And here comes the fungal. No follow-up though. The spore. Yeah, the spore does catch one full medevac. Medevac goes down. The other does barely slip away. Hive is now complete, and there's that ultra cavern. Comes that ultras. Files. Casito, baby, casito. Kamikaze is having fun. As the medevac does get away. Does get away. We're building up our bio tank. And from here, Kamikaze is in a really rough position. Once again, what do we say? The soup does lie. Right now, Kamikaze, he has been building up into a 3-base economy with a 4th base on the way. That is true. But the big power spike is this. Like, this is the big advantage that Erik has, is getting away with the Hive and now Ultra production and Ultra Tech. There's going to be a window in time where Erik has Ultras available before there are Ghosts, right? Before Ghost production, before Liberator production. So it's going to be difficult for Kamikaze to deal with this. Likewise, worst case scenario is Kamikaze pushes as Ultras arrive, and Ultra production has begun. Kamikaze rotating over to claim his 4th base. Yeah. Does rotate. We have our safety spire for anti-air. Microbial shroud to help support the Ultras. And you can see Kamikaze turtling up. He's just fully rolling up here. We have 2 more factories on the way, so we are going for a mech transition. We're going to be done with bio soon, as we have 3 factories, soon to be 4 factories up and running. It's a lot of factories. But the problem here, once again, is that it takes time to get into this mech transition. It does take time to pull this off. And does Kamikaze have that time? So setting up the Doom drop. Nimitaz Carapace now just beginning. Ultras are on the way. And we have how many Ultras so far? We have 6, soon to be 8. 8 Ultralisks. Kindness plating is done. We're just waiting for Ultra Speed. Ultra Speed is still on the way. Now, breaking into these positions could be difficult, but what do we have? We don't have Vipers, no Blinding Clouds, but we do have Microbial Shroud. So Microbial Shroud can be utilized here to help break through these siege lines. Likewise, Drop Lord play as well. The main base is exposed, is open. So the drop is coming. Now, despite Microbial Shroud being useful here, I mean, it is still a full wall, so still gonna take a bit to get through. Erik rotates to the right-hand side. Planetary is not yet done. Massive tank shots going off, and the Ultras, they do not break through. Yeah, the infested too far behind. Where are the Microbial Shrouds? Where are they? They're now being thrown down. Ultras are breaking through. Fungal lands, and he has done it. Yeah, Erik, he breaks through the defensive line and pushes up the ramp, pushing into the mineral line as well. And with that, the Ultras, they give chase. Lings are still... they're now being cleaned up in the main base. They did cause a distraction, though. Yeah, they caused a distraction. 12 SCV kills. Third base has been broken. Kamikaze knocked down to a 3-base economy. As we drop into the main... Oh, this is a bold move. No, don't go for it. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 Drop Lords go down. A very messy play by Erik. Crazy. Ambitious play is a better way of putting it. Ambitious play, dropping into the main base. In the face of biopath. Calm down, Erik. Calm down. As Erik's still making use of just how open this store base now is. Flooding more Lings, more Ultralisks. And now you can see that supply disparity. Here the soup is not lying to you. It's like... As we have 2 more starports on the way. I believe this should be for Liberator production. Liberators will help, but at this point it's too little too late. It'll take too long for that to come online. Erik is already remaxed, and now he can push towards that third for a second time. I say that Erik actually rotated towards the southern half instead, but remember last time there were what, 5, 6 tanks sieged up? Now there is 0 tanks in position. Again, because Kamikaze has so little army to work with, he has to pick and choose. Where does he rotate? Where does he set up? He's setting up now at the third location because this area is more open, and that means that the southern base is more exposed. As Ultras, they move in, they break down the planetary. Fourth base is going to go down, and again, Kamikaze he's just being torn apart, right? He doesn't have enough supply to defend both locations at once. You have to pick and choose. Oh, this is going to be going down. Yeah, shutting down 3 Infestors. There's Microbial Shards. Oh no, we can chase. Yeah, now we can just give chase. We pull back to the tanks. The army's overstimmed. Ultras, they break through. They collapse on top of the tanks. They're even coming in from behind as well. The Ultras, they're everywhere. Oh my god. Every tank goes down. That was how many? That was... Jesus. That was 15. 15 tanks falling. Technically 16. 16 tanks go down. And the tank count is down to 0. 0 tanks left. Again, the fourth is now open. The third is now open. Night Storm into the main base. Erik not stopping. Do we have Fungal? We do. And Fungal lands. GG, well played. And Erik, he will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. With that, Erik does take a lead in the series. Again, in Kamikaze, he had just a very rough opener. When winding it back when it comes to the early game, Kamikaze, he did go for a big overreaction to the Roach Rush, if you recall. He cancelled all of his add-ons. He threw down a wall of bunkers. honestly, I feel like if he hadn't canceled those add-ons, I mean, again, as we were trying to emphasize, it means earlier sim timing, earlier breakouts. We can start to have a back and forth, punish the Zerg player, and you'd even have Erik question how safe is it to drone up, how safe is it to tech up into Hive if there's a marauding army of Marines out on the map or bio out on the map as well. So then there's a little bit more tension on the map, and there's more against the idea of maybe being too greedy and droning. As we saw though, after the opener, Erik was left alone. Right after the opener, Kamikaze was just stuck at home turtling up, and Erik had the freedom to drone up heavily and to tech up heavily as well, which allowed him to get the infestation bit, the hive tech, and the ultras uncontested. And with that, GG well played. With that, that leads us into game number 2. We'll see if Kamikaze can recover. We'll see if Erik can extend his lead as we load into Winter Madness. Let's go. Oh god. Let's go. Since the year when Erik beat Dark 2 weeks in a row. True, that did happen. That did happen. S to Erik. Here we go. We're getting into game 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness. We have the Brazilian Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Eximius Gaming. It is Kamikaze. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. We have the Brazilian Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's one of our own. It is Erik. Let's go. Let us go. So have you been admiring Erik? I mean, again, Erik, he's an animal, but he's a hard animal. Yeah, Erik, he often, I mean, we spoke with this at the start of the series or the start of the broadcast, but Erik, he often does come up with his own builds, his own styles. He does often influence the meta as well. Like we've even seen from players like Serral, for example, like taking builds and taking openers from Erik, where he often does kind of explore things a little bit earlier on. S to Erik. He's he puts in the work, where, you know, he figures out what works, what doesn't work either. I know he's been messing around with some other builds as of late as well. We saw some of that against Master, of course. It's interesting to see that for a long time, for what, years, Erik, he was mixing in like proxy hatches and hatch blocks, and now that has also hit the mainstream. If you watch players like Shin, Rogue, like Solar as well, like it is a lot more common now to hatch block and proxy hatch against Terran and Protoss. You saw that in GSL, you saw that in RSL. But now though, Erik does once again go gasless. Now, as a reminder, we saw the same build last game. Gasless opener into roaches. This is a lot more common here. This is a way to be quite greedy, and we'll see if Kamikaze can get a faster scout, and we'll see how he reacts to it. Remember, last game it was a roach opener into just droning, into saturation. It wasn't an all-in, and Kamikaze overreacted. This time, the scary thing about Erik, we could just commit and go for the all-in, right? We could just double down and send roaches across the map. I'm sure a lot of it comes down to whether or not he gets scouted. This time it is the standard opener out of Kamikaze, not 2x Reaper, so just the 1 Reaper to scouts. Oh, going for a heavy bio follow-up though. That's a 2nd and 3rd racks. And do we go for a 4th racks as well? Do we just go for a 2 base 4 rack stim all in? That's what we're leaning towards. So a hyper aggression out of Kamikaze. Now, I'm a little bit concerned here for Kamikaze just because the build that he's going for here is weaker on Winter Madness. When it comes to the maps themselves, maps do influence, you know, strengths and weaknesses when it comes to builds, and they do help or hurt. Maps like Tourmaline, maps like 10,000 Feet, Ruby Rock, smaller maps do benefit this kind of style. Winter Madness is one of the larger, more defensive maps in the map pool. This means that Erik has more time to scout, more time to react, more time to delay, but also back at home we have a lot of positions here where you can take a better fight as well as a defending player. So this is going to be working against Kamikaze when it comes to the execution of the build itself, but we'll see if he goes unscouted. True, we'll see. For now, we do see gases being taken. Link speed is being researched though. That is not normal. So usually when you go gasless as an opener, you skip link speed entirely and you get into roaches. Roach Warren did finish, But did you notice, Erik, he does make 3 roaches, and he's intentionally showing his roaches across the map. He reveals his roaches here at the bunker, shows his hand here to Kamikaze, but it was only these 3 roaches, and then bam, a switch into droning and link speed. Now this time, Kamikaze, he already had a safety bunker, so there's no big overreaction like we saw previously. But like Erik, he wants to try to force a certain kind of style. Behind this, lair is on the way. Now, the question that I have here, is this going to be too greedy? Erik, he hasn't scouted, right? This is now a game where it's less so about what Erik is doing, but it's more so about what Kamikaze is doing. Kamikaze is playing unorthodox, and Erik has not scouted. He does have an overlord here on the right hand side, and he might be waiting for the lair for an overseer scout, but that might be too late. Wait, what? Never mind. So in my mind, it's like, okay, we're going for a heavy ranks opener into stim, into combat shields, and then we'll be pushing with starport, right, with a medevac. That's a second factory. That's a second factory and an armory. This is a 3-rack stim timing into mech. Which is going to slow down the mid game quite heavily. It means that the mid game is going to be full of Kamikaze. Instead of reinforcing his army, it's going to be full of him transitioning into tanks, into battle mech as well, into a different kind of upgrade set. This is a really awkward transition, and this is only worth it if Kamikaze does damage here. If he does damage across the map, if he fails to do damage here with this army that he built up, then he just falls behind, because it just gives his opponent so much breathing room once again. Like, because of this kind of mech transition that we're going for here, like it's gonna be awkward. Oh boy. Also, sorry, I just realized there's no third CC either. Like, what do we... Oh, no. 2 base all in. 7 racks? We can't afford this. As in, when I say we can't afford, we could afford one or the other. Like we invested into double factory. We can't afford double factory production, as you can see, we're not doing anything here, plus all these racks as well on a 2-base economy. Okay. okay. Let him cook, Bappy. Let him cook. We'll see how this goes. okay. So it's a 2-base all in, but it's going to be very delayed as well, right? It's a very late 2-base all in that's coming in. I think an example of this, if we hadn't gone for the double factory production, and if we had just gone for the heavier marine or racks counts, like we could like get our marine count quite high and get our bio count quite like up and running quite quickly to like go for a bit of an earlier push, like at around 7 minutes. Okay, let's go. Kamikaze for now is distracting. Behind this, Erik, he did go into a safety amount of roaches, into lings, into infestation, into hive. This is greedy. This is a concern, right? Very, very fast hive tech into ultras. Meanwhile, infestors will help, but Kamikaze's all in. But at the same time, he's all in, but going for drop play, right? At least for the time being. He's still building up his main force. I'm just worried this hits too late. Like, it's just very awkward. It's very awkward. Kamikaze now starts to move out. His move out gets spotted. Erik here responds. And again, the longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for Erik. The Ultra Cavern is finishing. It's finishing up. Erik so far keeping up with the drops. We're still waiting for the main move out. Three ultras are now on the way. Double drop into the main. Now we're going for yeah, what's so earlier intentionally there weren't any add-ons on these Raxes because we couldn't afford them, like to afford like anything else with the 2 base economy. Now we're going for add-ons, so it's a little bit messy. Here comes the all-in. There's a mass on siege. Drones do go down, and it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing with Kamikaze. But ultras have arrived. And in a couple of moments here, kindness plating is going to be done. Kindness plating almost complete. Oh, Erik, gotta be careful. Again, he threatens the dive. He does force the early siege. The Lings are coming from behind. They attempt to catch reinforcements. They will. Val's catching out. Oof. Just one tank, not quite worth it. And kindness plating is not done. Kindness plating is done. This has just taken too long. It's taken too long to really get going. No, the mass on siege! The mass on siege, we collapse in. Fungal here on the main army. And we just chase him down. We can chase him down. The chain fungals. The medevac should survive this. No shot. Ooh, gets one medevac. Gets a second, a tank goes down, another fungal lands. Ah. Yeah, unfortunate moment to just mass on siege as the final medevac falls. With that, we're collapsing in. Do we have a fungal? Not quite, not yet. Jesus, that's a lot of marauders. That's a lot of marauders here. Fungal lands, no, it does land. Bringing down the army, massive swipes for the ultras. The army is heavily overstimmed, very battered, very bruised. So another fungal lands. Oof. And again, these are still better trades for Erik. Erik massing up behind this. 5 more infestors, more ultras. This is a little bit cavalier from Erik. I didn't. Okay, no mind. This works. I still just forced the pickup. And behind this, we float over the main. The main base lifts. The main base lands. Kamikaze claiming his third. Trying to. No, the SCVs! Get out of here. The workers. We'll save a handful of them. 13 SCVs are saved. And Erik just moving in for the final blow. Okay, the final set of tanks. Fungals land. GG gets called, and Erik takes game number 2. GG. Whew, GG, well played. And it was an interesting game here. I do like the idea that Kamikaze was going for. And when I say idea, I like the idea of going for a 2-base all-in against Erik. Just because, as we were mentioning earlier, Erik wasn't scouting. Remember that. Erik, he did not scout the main base, and Erik was being greedy, taking up quite heavily as well, staying on a low roach count and getting into high very fast, getting into the ultras very fast as well. Like, this was greed from Erik. Lack of scouting, a fast tech. But specifically, this 2-base all-in that Kamikaze went for hits so late. Like, it takes a long time to really get going. I'll be honest, it felt kind of like Kamikaze was freestyling. it didn't seem too well refined, like by going for this fast double factory but not being able to afford double factory production, and then going into 7 Raxes, but then going into add-ons thereafter as well. It felt very, very messy there from Kamikaze. And again, like, I like the idea of going for a 2-base all-in against Erik. I do think that has a little potential. I do think there's a world where you can catch Erik with his pants down by being hyper aggressive in such a way, but the build itself, it felt a little bit undercooked, man. GG, well played. With that, Erik, he does claim a 2-0 lead, and now we're jumping to game number 3. Remember, this is a best of 5 matchup, not a best of 3, so we're going to be loading into Ruby Rock. Let's go. Let us go. Here we Go. And spawning in the bottom hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the Brazilian Terran player. We have the Brazilian Terran. We have the blue Terran representing Eximius Gaming. It is Kamikaze. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. We have the Brazilian Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. Let's go. Let us go. So now we're calming down, we're opening up. As Erik, he does go for his standard opener. He also does go for a standard opener, does go for a hatch first. I should bring this up just because we haven't, I mean, we'll see. Erik has been going for earlier pool timings and he's been going gasless every game so far. We'll see if that trend continues here early on from Erik as we load into a smaller map, a map that does actually favor more aggression. Meanwhile, Kamikaze has been mixing up his builds. Game 1, 2-Rax Reaper. Game 2, went for a 2-base all-in. Game 3, what do you have for us? Fun fact, I would also say, I mean, we mentioned it last game actually, if you remember. Winter Madness also didn't help, right? The map is larger, more time to react, more time to respond, and also more defensive positions. If we went for a 2-base all-in on Ruby Rock, on this map instead, it'd be even stronger for Kamikaze. It'd be easier to push across the map. But at this point in the series, I don't like the idea of all-inning 2 games in a row. That's the issue here, is that I would want to see a 2-base all-in from Kamikaze on Ruby Rock, but not after it failed. Like, not after we just kind of revealed our hand in the previous game. We'll see. Once again, we do go... Oh, hatch gas... interesting. So we do technically go for a hatch gas pool opener this time, so not gasless, but we are going for a very fast third hatchery. This will delay the second queen. So you can see here the second queen is going to be delayed in favor of a faster expand. Oh, meanwhile, that is a second Rax. Okay. Go. As from here, Kamikaze, I say second Rax is going for another Rax as well. So this is looking actually very similar to last game, going into initially a 3 Rax opener here, and last time we saw this, it led into double factory. So we'll see. We'll see if he does go for the same 2-base all-in. Back at home, lair first. Gases are being taken. Erik, are we going into Spire play? Are we going into Mutas? What's the plan? So what's the build that Cyril took from him? The 15 hatchery gasless. There's a couple of quote-unquote builds. I will say that there was a period in time, I don't know if you remember, like that, yes, but also there was a period in time where Erik, he was going for a crazy style against Terran. I think was it his 2-base swarm host build where Erik would open up with a queen drop and spread creep backwards from across the map. It'd be like a queen drop opener just to spread creep and then back off. I know that Cyril, he was trying that out himself, like in that era. So that was like 2 years ago. Like when Erik was doing that, like Cyril, he tried it out as well. I want to say it was at like maybe Home Stray Cup. But it was a crazy build in ZvT where you would open up queen drop and then start spreading creep backwards. This was insane. God damn. But it is 2-base Muta, so we're rushing into Muta play. And this time, Kamikaze, can we punish? Can we punish Erik? The Marines, they move out across the map. This is a bit of a weird move out. It's an anti-timing. What I mean by that, Stim is not yet done. Stim is finishing up still a ways away. Marines are revealing themselves, and this is prompting a reaction out of Erik. Yeah, Lings are now amassing. Erik, he does spot all the Marines. He did scout the main this time. Okay. Did confirm, and it's same build, double factory. So it looks like this is intentional. So 3 Rax Stim into double factory. Kamikaze races back home. Now he did force out a massive wave of Zerglings. This could have been drones, right? This could have been workers. Did force out army out of Erik. Mutas are amassing. And how does this compare here? So Kamikaze, he did see the gas, he did see the lair, he didn't see the spire, but based on the early game scouting, he can assume, right? He can assume like a Nidus all in, he can assume 2-base Hydra, 2-base Muta. Here we have Marines waiting in the main base and mirror line in both bases. So good read at a Kamikaze that's going to be Muta play. And Erik is droning. Erik is droning, he's massing up mutas, he will gain map control. Okay, map control, going further in, scouting and confirming, and even the contamination, let's go. Contaminates the factory. What I will say about this variation here is that this time the Rax explosion is delayed from Kamikaze, which I think is a good thing. Because he can actually afford, like, the factory production. If you remember, last time he threw down 4 Raxes at once. This time, he's kind of getting to that point. Ooh. As he bleeds out 2 more mutas. A bit of miscontrol there by Erik. He does leave the army idle. Behind this Kamikaze, he is likewise still building up his forces as the army once again. As I mentioned before, this does look very similar to the previous game and the previous build. There are some differences. This time he's got a later Rax explosion, as we didn't mention, but I'm not too fond of this. He's still making tanks. So typically you do want to be reacting to what your opponent's doing, and going into a mass like Ling Muta style, ideally I would want to see a switch into Widow Mines, not tanks. Bio tank is not really ideal against Ling Muta. It has a stronger place against a more ground focused composition, like Roaches, like Ultras, like Hydras. I will say at least the mutas haven't really found too much damage. As the other mutas goes down, oof. Yeah, another muta falls. Behind this, Hive is on the way. Shows the Ultra Cavern. Now, is Erik able to take him into Ultras in time, or is Kamikaze going to be able to break through and get across the map earlier or before that? The push gets spotted. Erik is racing back home. Remember, Erik, he has no banelings. It's purely a Ling Hydra defense. This might just kill. This might just kill Erik. Kamikaze's coming. I mean, true, Fungals will help. That does make up for the lack of banelings. Lings, they come in for the backstab. They attempt to break down the front door. And eventually they should be able to. Mutas, they do pick off the Marines. Oh, losing another Mutalist though. Not worth it. Yeah, not worth it. Oh, Erik, he bleeds out too many Lings, and with that Kamikaze, he can overwhelm. He can send it. Yeah, Sibs off the ramp. There are Fungals. Fungals are landing, but do we have enough support for the Fungals though? These are good Fungals. Jeez. Oh my god. They're very good Fungals. Erik, he threw away every single Zergling he had. He defends purely with Fungals. Okay, let's go. Erik, he survives with purely fungal growths back. Aye. And here, do you know what? In the face of a 2-base all-in, Ultra Cavern. Oh god. It's so greedy. It's so greedy. Can he get away with it, Pappy? Can he get away with it? Mutas, they attempt to slow this down. Oh. Another Mutas fall. Again, these have been some expensive losses. I want to say it's 6. Yeah, 6 Mutas have fallen. 7. 7 Mutas have gone down. Mutas, they delay reinforcements. Kamikaze's pushing across the map. He's got 6 tanks with his main army. That's a lot of tanks. Okay, the door has been broken. Lings are flooding in. At the same time, do we have a Fungal? Against tanks, Fungals don't do much. Oh, Mass on Siege. 1 tank goes down to 5. 5 tanks left. Marines are moving in. Kamikaze, heavy supply block as he lost all the depots. He's losing all his depots. Not enough Marines back at home. Ultras are on the way. The third base is being broken. Yeah, Erik losing 20 drones. Heavy losses for Erik. But the ultras are coming. And we have fungals. And we have the Unsiege. Ooh, does land a fungal. Yeah, lands a fungal. Second fungal as well. The ultra does get in. And takes down 1, 2 tanks. Oh my god. Barely 2. 3 tanks survive. Kamikaze still supply blocked, by the way. Oh no, the mutants! Can he get a full medevac? Does he know? Gets an empty one. He gets a full one. Oh my god, 2 tanks go down. 1 tank survives. Ah! Oh my god. You can see Kamikaze, he had a 1000k bank as well. He just couldn't spend his money. 1k gas, to be fair. Tank's getting low. Micro shot is about to finish. How many infestors? 6. That's a lot of infestors here, but they're back at home. With 6 infestors with mass micro shroud, Erik, he can get on top of those tanks. Can't get on top of it. He's coming. Erik redroning, resaturating. Kamikaze still stuck at home. How many raxes do we have here? We're up to 5? 7. Okay, 7. 7 raxes. Catching out another 2 mutas. Like, these are nice pickups. But ideally, Erik, he wants to lure the army out. He wants to lure the army out into the open, and then bam, mass fungal, mass microbial shroud. Wants to lure him out. Here he comes. Yeah, here comes the fungals. We're going for the dive. There's the first microbial shot. Massive fungal with the Marines. Oh my god, catching everything. It all gets caught. Another fungal. The Marines go down, and GG, well played. Erik, he will overwhelm. He will rake through, and Erik, he will take the series 3-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Hey. GG, well played. I feel like there were like maybe 2 different times in this game where Erik was dead. Where Erik, he was just dead, papi. Ay. GG, well played. Erik, he was being so greedy and defending with the bare minimum and losing a lot of units as well. Like, if you recall, there was a moment in this game where Erik, he lost Lynx counterattacking, he bled out mutas, and then he lost Lynx back at home, accidentally like move commanding into the army. And it was the moment where he had only infestors to defend. Like, there was 6 tanks knocking down his front door with mass marine, and Erik, he landed 2 fungals, killed all the marines, and then forced Kamikaze back. It was like, oh my god. like Erik had nothing. He had nothing. He had only fungals to defend, and he survived. He was able to survive. He got his hive up and running. He got his ultra cavern up and running. He got his ultras out, and with his ultras, even though he lost a full mineral line worth of workers, he was able to survive, partially because of the mutas. And I say the mutas, the backstab. He heavily supply blocked Kamikaze. Kamikaze lost what? He lost 6 depots with the high yield depot as well, right? With the core down supply on it. So he was heavily supply blocked, and Kamikaze couldn't reinforce, right? Because that his army wasn't getting any bigger, and ultras were on the way. So Erik, he barely held on there. It was very close, very clutch. GG. GG, well played. Erik, he does take the series. Oh, sorry, there we go. He does claim the series. He will advance on to the grand finals. Here we go. He'll advance on to the grand finals, where he does have his next opponent. Gonna have his next opponent. It is going to be a PvZ, actually. Okay, so a PvZ between Erik and Master. Master, he did fight his way back up from the lower half of the bracket after initially losing the initial best of 3 against Erik, and now we have a rematch here in the grand finals. Now, because Master is coming from the lower brackets, it is going to be a 1-point advantage for Erik. So 1-point advantage here for Erik, coming into a best of 7. Oh boy. So best of 7 finals.